Peace, peace. You know what it is. It's your man SKYZOO Skyzoo, live out the borough. And this is the NBA Exchange with my man Dexter Henry. You know how you doing it, man. Log on, tap in. Let's get into it.
What's good, everybody? It's the Wednesday edition of the NBA Exchange. I'm your host, Dexter Henry. NBA Summer League in Vegas is in full swing. Top picks have been in action. Seen a lot of players do their thing on the court with some very impressive performances. We're talking everything Summer League on this edition of the NBA Exchange. It's time to talk about NBA Summer League, and on this Wednesday to talk with me about that with a bit of nuance, you know who's joining me. It's my man, Jarod Hector. He is the co-host of the 7 Footers podcast. You also see his work on True Hoop. Jarod, what's up? It's Wednesday, NBA Summer League action, and maybe we're hoping at this point where basketball never stops that you might have some hot takes.
Come on, man. Y'all know what it is. The hottest take I have is I wish basketball would stop sometimes just so I can take a rest. I know these players need a rest. I damn sure need a rest. But nah, y'all know where to find hot takes on them other whack channels and whack shows. Here, nuance. Let it marinate. Let your brains do some work. Think about some things for a while. You know, let it just percolate around in there for a minute before you spout off with your crazy-ass opinions.
There we go. No crazy-ass opinions. But we got to talk about some NBA Summer League and what's going on with all that. So, season's ending. Draft has happened. Free agency, pretty much true. You know, still some signings here and there going on. But as we said, basketball never stops. A lot of these young rookies are playing out in Vegas at the 2021 NBA Summer League out there. We know there's a couple of Summer League smaller ones before in Utah and in Sacramento as well too. But a lot of these players are out there playing, getting some professional action, and even some of the younger vets that were not able to play last year. So, Jarod, I have to ask this as we start off this conversation. What is the importance of the NBA Summer League?
I mean, it varies, right? There's a couple different plot points to hit. First one is if you were one of these bottom-feeding franchises, right? Your hope is that the players you drafted in the top 3, 4, 5, that you're starting to see signs in Summer League of, okay, this is the reason why we drafted this kid, right? Are they doing the things that we know, okay, we can see a future here, and these players are future cornerstone building blocks of our franchise. That's what you hope if you're one of those teams. If you are a middling team, right? Like, and by middling, I mean, all right, you're not a bottom feeder, but you're like just outside the cusp of the playoffs, etc. You're looking to figure out, okay, we got some people some players on our team who can do some stuff. We got to round out the rest of this roster. Where can we find talent? I say all the time, talent exists everywhere, but it's incumbent on you to find that talent and give the talent an opportunity. Summer League is a great spot for that. And when you're a playoff team and you're a contending team, it's the same thing, but now you're on the margin, so it's even thinner. How many times in the playoffs we say things like, oh, if only this team had like another player with a little bit more size who could do X, Y, and Z for like 15 minutes, that'd be great. Yeah, that's like every team has that, right? You can name 1, 2, or 3 kinds of players they need. Yeah, we know the rare talents, the LeBrons, KDs, Hardens, Stephs, Dames. Okay, put them aside. We know that. Who are those other guys that you can get that are valuable? Guys like Jay Crowder, right? Guys like Miles Bridges. Who are those kinds of players, and where can I find them? They exist, but you got to give them an opportunity to develop, and a great place to give them an opportunity is Summer League.
Great place for players to develop. But when you talk about the top picks, Jarod, people who come out to Vegas to Summer League or watching this on TV, they want to see how those top picks perform too. Cade Cunningham, #1 overall pick in this year's draft. A lot of people want to see how he does. You can talk about Jalen Green. You can talk about Evan Mobley. A lot of people want to see how these guys perform. So when we talk about performances that we've seen thus far this week in Vegas, who have been the standouts in your eyes in terms of performances in Vegas this week?
I mean, all the top picks have had their sort of, positive moments, and they're like, okay, we see why you're a rookie, right? But the biggest thing for me with Summer League is let's not get too high or too low off anything, right? I like what I saw out of Mobley. I liked what I seen out of Cade Cunningham, right? Cade Cunningham looks real cool sometimes when he's on the court, kind of like, all right, man, I can just do whatever and get to my spot and do whatever I got to do. And it's like, all right, is what it is. I do like what I see out of Suggs and Jalen Green. Look, again, I think that there are talented players up and down that got drafted, but let's not go crazy and go nuts and have these hot takes after 1, 2, 3 summer league games. First of all, it's summer league, which we know is going to be way different than NBA. How many guys have you seen over the past cook in summer league only to get to the NBA and it's like, oh, what happened, right? Or guys who were terrible in summer league and you're like, damn, look how good they are, right? I mean, Trae Young is an example, right? Like, I remember his first summer league game or second summer league game, he was terrible. Airballing. We were like, oh, this guy might be a bust. Nobody's saying that now, right? Like, so I think we have to allow for time and opportunity for these players to actually develop. But so not necessarily looking at the box score per se, but watch the game and look for what you're seeing, right? See how they respond to amped up defensive pressure. See how they guard in space. See how they attack the rim. See how their shot form and mechanics are looking. Those are the things to look at more so than, all right, he was 9 of 22. Okay, great. Like, whatever. Like, what actually, when you watched him, what did you see?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that in terms of evaluating the performances, Jarod, right? Because a lot of times you look at it, it's not even about the wins and losses. If your team won and lost, did this guy play well? When you're looking at this stuff, is it more about how these rookies fit within a system and develop and how they contributed to the game overall more than you're looking at, hey, somebody put up 30 here, somebody only put up 15 in this game? Is it sort of the nuances in their game within these summer league performances that you're looking at?
Exactly what you said, Dexter. It's a nuance. Like, I don't care if someone puts up 30. Like, all right, great. Like, so what? Like, I want to watch and how they reacted to your point, within game situations, within an offense. Most of these teams that they're on, the summer league offense is a dumbed down, and I don't mean dumbed down because they're stupid, but because you don't have time to install a whole offense and defense. But it's a simpler version of what the big team is going to run during the actual season. So seeing how they react or how they read and react, right? Do they know where to be? Are they playing basketball the right way? And by right way, I mean, are they cutting when they're supposed to cut? Are they rotating when they're supposed to rotate? Are they switching when they're supposed to switch? Like, those are the things I'm looking for. Not, oh my God, he blocked him at the rim. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to look for athleticism at points. I'm going to look for different things. But again, I want to see how they're doing within the context of the actual game that is happening against, ostensibly what is better competition than they've played against thus far in their careers.
We talked about this in terms of young talent and seeing the rookies. That's the guys who get a lot of the looks in terms of how they play in the summer league. But last season, a lot of the rookies, well, all the rookies, there was no summer league. So they did not get to play in the summer league. They were pretty much thrown right into the NBA fire. So for those young vets, how important is that are playing in this summer league, I should say, because we've seen this on the Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, they are playing as young veterans in this summer league. How important is this summer league for young veterans like that to be able to showcase their talent and also improve their games?
Huge. Because to your point, again, they did not get any burn last year, right? So that's a big deal. Guys like Isaac Okoro from the Cleveland, right? Like, these are guys who need as much time and reps. Like, it's all about reps. That's how you get better. Like, about anything in life, forget about basketball. Anything that you do and want to do at a high level, how you get better at it, continuing to do it. That's how you get better, right? And of course, with coaching and people pointing out, here's what's going on, here's what's happening, right? I just think that summer league is so crucial for those second-year guys. Again, it's an opportunity also for teams to look at ways in which, here's someone who can develop for us. I think, and we'll talk about this later, it's a big thing teams need to look at as a piece as they look at their overall player development system, which, as you know, and I've said multiple times, most franchises in the NBA are shitty at that.
Yeah. And with that, looking at overall player development system, after the NBA draft, the hunt for talent, as you said, Jarod, it's not over. This summer league is a lot of GMs still looking for talent. There's guys who are playing overseas that are coming to play in the summer league, hoping to get an NBA contract, hoping to get a training camp invite, hoping to land a two-way deal. All these opportunities are out there. So there still are ways to find young talent after the draft at the NBA Summer League. How important is that, and how much are people looking at? Because to find those diamonds in the rough, they're here. It's not just about the stars, right?
100%. And I think a way you tie that in is looking at how you tie in Summer League with G League, right? How can you fill out your G League roster? Maybe, you see somebody in Summer League or whatever, and you're like, all right, like, they're not ready yet for the big team. But I saw enough good things that in the right system, and, which is our system and continued development, this is someone who can help us. Maybe not even this year, maybe down the line. Why is it that the Toronto Raptors seem to be the only team that knows how to function as it relates to development with their G League players, right? Golden State gave up on Chris Boucher. He finds his way on the Toronto Raptors G League team. Next thing you know, he's a Defensive Player of the Year, MVP of the G League. Now he's on the big club and an integral part of that team going forward, a building block. Anybody could have had him, right? It's just like, it baffles me and blows my mind how teams don't look at the long view and the big picture. And that starts from the top. If you don't have a direct and clear vision set from your owner and your team president and your GM, etc., it's just you're guessing and grasping at straws. And there are too many talented basketball players in the world for teams to be struggling every year. Oh man, we got to find a guy who can pass, dribble, and shoot. There's a million of them that play. Give them the opportunity instead of recycling the same old names over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's about giving people chances, and opportunities are there to be had at the Summer League. We always talk a lot about, it's not just the youth, right, Jarod? And finding that youth, it's also about the player development as well, too. People may look at the Summer League games. You're playing 10-minute quarters, so it's not an NBA game, right? You have a chance to use 10 fouls in the game, so it's not exactly like an NBA game. But it also gives more chances for young guys to stay and be on the court. How much player development is actually going on here, and not just rolling out the balls and letting the young guys run with it?
You know, again, not a lot. I'll say this. From the top teams, in terms of player development, you're seeing some. But in terms of most, no. You're just seeing them roll out the balls. And again, what is your plan? Most of the times you want to come through, we don't want our number one draft pick getting hurt. Okay, and I respect that. You definitely don't want that. But did you set up a plan for said player and say, okay, these are markers we'd love to see come out of Las Vegas Summer League, right? And whatever they may be, set the goals. These three things. We'd love to see improvement here, here, and here. It's not about leading and scoring. No. We'd love to see, improved, getting to his left hand. Okay. If we see that in the however many games we play. We'd love to see, tighter rotation, on defense. Did we see that? No. Set something up. What are your plans? Some teams do that. The really good teams at player development do that. Most teams, they just kind of, all right, nobody get hurt. We're going to kind of run and, just showcase, do some stuff. And then, when training camp comes, that's what matters. And I just think that's a poor way to look at it. It needs to be much more in concert. And again, the teams that have everything sort of lined up from the big club to the G League to the Summer League squad, and it's the same system being run, and everyone looks at it as an extension of the overall bigger franchise, those teams do better. Teams that don't, luck of the draw.
Last thing, Jarod, when we look at Summer League performances, if somebody stands out in the Summer League, somebody will win an MVP of the Summer League, somebody will play really well. Should you put a lot of stock into that? Or should you pump the brakes and say what we see here might not necessarily translate into the regular season? You brought up Trae Young and his performance a couple years ago, his shaky performance. Obviously, he's worked out fine. How much stock should we put into what we see this week in Vegas?
I think anybody who does anything too poorly or anybody that does anything too well, I think, again, those outlier, right? Like, just what kind of sits in them. Everyone should, what's sitting sort of right near that standard deviation, right, of the mean. If you're just kind of right around what you always do, that's fine. Again, look more at what's happening in the game when you're watching the film, not, oh, did he score 25? Or, oh my God, he had 10 steals and 10 blocks. It's like, okay, that may be indicative of something, right? And you'd be like, ooh, he has better athleticism than we thought he did, right? There's a thing that always happens at the combine, right? There's combine athleticism and there's in-game athleticism, right? Okay, in the combine, you may only have a 32-inch vert. All right. But then in the game, it's like, whoa, I didn't know he can get up like that in the game. It's like, oh, okay, that's something to kind of take note of, right? So it's sort of with nuance. It's what are you seeing within the game that is something that, I can see how this would translate into, real games in the NBA. That's how I would look at it. Less so about, oh my God, this guy's Summer League MVP. It's like, okay, it may mean something. Probably not, though.
It might not. Watch the games, people. Watch it with nuance. You can break it all down. That is Jarod Hector joining me for NBA with Nuance as he does every Wednesday. Jarod, appreciate you joining me as usual and going through an entire episode of this once again with no hot takes.
Listen, man, we're not here for the hot takes, people. Y'all know where to find that garbage.
You know where to find it. Just so everybody knows, we want to let everybody know this is going to be the last episode of the NBA Exchange for this season. We will be returning once we get closer to training camp. Yeah, we said basketball never stops, but at some point we got to stop. We got to refresh. We got to relax. We got to work on our games. But we'd like to thank everybody for rocking with myself and Jarod each Wednesday for NBA with Nuance, all the other guests that made it possible, our producer, Gregory Alcala, who does an amazing job with everything behind the scenes, making everything look great. We thank everybody for watching. Hopefully we'll see you at the start of the next NBA season. Thank you once again for joining and watching the NBA Exchange.